Isaac Newton, the lone genius who reached for the stars. Imagine, you are sitting in a peaceful garden. A gentle breeze is blowing and an apple falls from the tree. Could this simple event be the start of one of the greatest discoveries in the history of science? But did the story really happen this way? Today we delve into the extraordinary life of Isaac Newton. Join us on a journey from the humble beginnings of this genius to the incredible legacy he left us all. Christmas Eve, 1642. In Woolsthorpe Manor, a small English village, a frail baby was born, Isaac Newton. His father died before he was born, and his mother left him behind to remarry. Newton spent his childhood alone with his grandmother. Even as a child, Newton was different from the others. While playing, he would watch a leaf fall to the ground and try to understand why water always flows downhill. One day, his grandmother asked him, "Isaac, why don't you play like the other children?" Newton's answer already showed his future sharpness. "Because I want to know the reason why." Do you think a lonely childhood can shape a creative mind? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. In 1661, Newton was accepted to Cambridge University. There he received a classical education, but he had a mind that questioned everything. He never stopped asking why. But fate led him down a different path. In 1665, Cambridge was closed due to the Great Plague that was sweeping across Europe. Newton had to return to his home. Newton's return to Woolsthorpe became a turning point in the history of science. Solitude freed Newton's mind. At night he looked at the sky. During the day he observed nature and asked big questions about how the universe worked. The apple story. Truth or legend? One day, while sitting in the garden, an apple fell from the tree. This famous story, as everyone knows, led him to discover gravity. But the truth was much more complicated. The falling apple was just a symbol. Newton's mind was already occupied with big questions like the movement of the planets. Newton said, "Why does the moon orbit the Earth and not just fly off into space? And why do apples always fall to the ground?" These questions laid the foundation for the law of universal gravitation. Could this story be true? Can the fall of an apple lead to such a discovery? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Calculus, the mathematical language of motion and change. Newton decided to develop the mathematical language of motion. This system, which we know today as calculus, allowed us to understand the movement of the universe. But things were about to get a little complicated. In Germany, another genius, Leibniz, was working on a similar system. A great dispute erupted between Newton and Leibniz. In a letter to a friend, Newton wrote, "Truth shines brighter in the light of discovery than in the shadow of dispute." This competition laid the foundation for modern science. Do you believe that competition fosters creativity? Share your opinion with us in the comments. The colors of light, Newton's prism experiment. Newton was interested not only in motion and gravity, but also in the nature of light. Using a prism, he succeeded in splitting white light into all the colors of the rainbow. This experiment proved that white light is actually a combination of all colors. Nature, Newton wrote, conceals the secrets of colors in light. This discovery opened the door to the science of optics. Did you know that you can create a rainbow by shining light through a prism? This simple yet powerful experiment changed Newton's life and gave science a new perspective on the visual world. Newton's solitude. Newton never married and remained distant in his relationships with other people throughout his life. One day, a friend asked him, "How can such a great man be so lonely?" Newton's answer was, "Sometimes only the stars give the answers." Newton's solitude allowed him to understand the universe. Do you think solitude promotes or hinders creativity? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. An inspiring end, Newton's legacy. When he died in 1727 at the age of 84, Newton left humanity the legacy of a scientific revolution. He was buried like a king in Westminster Abbey. His name is engraved in the annals of the history of science. Newton's story is not just the story of a scientist, but the story of human curiosity about the universe. It's the story of a child who looks up at the sky and asks questions. One last question. If you had the chance to make a discovery like Newton, what would it be? Let us know in the comments.